All right.
Right.
We are good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Whole Magazine, episode 53. I am joined by Oscar.
What's up?
Yeah, and we are joined by a long lost guest of the show, Tyler.
How's it going? Feels good to be back.
Holy shit. I think the last time you were on the show, you brought us that, what was that, delicious fucking peach cobbler whiskey?
Yeah, that was back when I was in there in person, probably, 2 years ago?
Yeah. Shit was delicious.
I'm
This is the first episode since the victory that Trump saw on the 5th. It is currently the 10th as of recording. This show is actually going to be the first of probably several, which are actually going to be live recorded segments that are actually going on the YouTube and stuff like that. We're going to start saturating the YouTube with the actual video content. So, holy shit. What a fucking election. But
totally didn't expect
we
that,
have
actually.
that to get to and more. But first, in order to celebrate Trump's victory over Kamala Harris, we have a 25% off deal going on. All apparel in the store. So if you want to snag some apparel, enjoy 25% off by using code Trump25. And that will give you that delicious 25% off on all apparel. That includes our hats, hoodies, and shirts.
I'm actually going to pick me up a hat. I actually tried your code before you changed it again.
I am, I'm not saying like I'm overjoyed because typically conservatives don't have such a visceral reaction to elections like this. Where it's like, yeah, cool. And we sort of just move on with our life. But for Democrats, it is a catastrophic meltdown of epic proportions, which we will gladly get into later in the show. This was a landslide victory. This was an absolute landslide. We saw 312 electoral votes that Trump managed to get out of the country. As well as the popular vote, which is something Democrats love to throw around as being super important. Whenever, say, like a Republican candidate wins, but the Democrat candidate gets the popular vote, they love to throw that around. They love to say it. They're like, well, actually, so-and-so won the popular vote, so this is why the Electoral College is bad.
It's the first time the public has won a popular vote since 2004?
Yeah.
During the Bush run?
Now they're not mentioning it at all because this is a total landslide. This is a landslide in regards to the Electoral College. It is a landslide in regards to popular vote. Trump took all of the swing states.
And the Senate, and
he took all of them.
That was the most surprising thing for me when we talk about landslide.
Absolutely.
Like that wasn't when you want to talk about landslides in a general perspective. That was what surprised me the most, was that the Republicans managed to gain a superiority there in the House and in the Senate. And I know I spoke to Brandon about this over the phone after everything had just occurred, and I was like, is this a bad thing? And he said it could be, but realistically, when we got bills that could be game changing for Americans and currently right now, bills that could really change the scope of our country, it's a good thing. And it's like all things, everything has a balance of power. At the end of the day, if something what's the word, ludicrous, were to ever be brought up, I doubt that it would ever genuinely pass. I'm sure Democrats and Republicans alike.
And this is the thing too, is people are already, I mean, they've been doing this from day one, that Trump is a fascist, he's a dictator. Trump had already had a presidency. He was already the guy. And he didn't do anything dictatorial. He didn't do anything.
The fact you can still tweet it and not catch a bullet, I mean, it says a
Yeah,
lot.
he didn't do anything
So,
that these people, these wackos, are accusing him of. He has a second term, and that is a great thing because the country was already heading down the shit bucket. It was already down its way. Economy in tatters, foreign policy non-existent, wars breaking out in distant lands that we are obligated to be part of. It was just bad. It was just bad. And we get into this more in the show of maybe this election is really showing people that the red wave is here, and it came in full force. You know, we've been talking about the red wave for a long time. This is it. This was the red wave. In the face of complete adversity, Trump being labeled a fascist and a dictator for the past 4 years, lie after lie after lie about things that he wants to do. He never wanted to touch abortion again. He didn't touch abortion. The Supreme Court did. They overruled Roe versus Wade and was left to the states to decide. We live
Which I don't even think was a bad decision.
We
can argue all day about how it's a bad decision, but I feel like it's a genuinely good decision. We're leaving it up to the states.
We live in a constitutional republic.
Media just took and ran with it. I mean, they still said, "Oh, it's an outright, national ban," when each state typically had a law in place that could still allow abortion.
And there's zero accountability for the legacy media who just lie and lie and lie, and there's zero accountability. And they were lying about Roe versus Wade. They were lying about Trump and his intentions. And it's more mind-boggling too that Kamala had as much support as she did because of just the outright, easily verifiably false lies that she was saying.
That's why I feel like it's important that we give props to a majority of young Americans. I read some statistics the other day on Trump, on his polling and stuff. Even though Kamala did swing more young voters, right? It wasn't by that much of this gap.
She swung.
In fact, Trump actually gained more young voters.
The numbers are split. It's more and more young men were voting Republican, and more young women were voting Democrat.
Yeah, did you guys see that video out of Penn State?
I'll have to verify because I've heard I have mixed reports of more, or like every 2 out of 3 women have voted for Trump, and I've heard mostly 1 out of 3 women voted for Trump. Kamala voted for Trump. So the statistics flip. So incredible. I'll have to verify something. I'll put something on screen now of what current information that we have.
I know it's bad to voice it, but just like TikTok videos and short clips, especially on YouTube, like watching Charlie Kirk or going around campuses across the world, like you really gotta give props to these people who allow young voters to have a voice and actually do their own research and open their eyes to what's being broadcast on television.
And such garbage. It's literally such garbage, and it takes a simple Google search to discover that most of the shit that they're talking is complete and utter garbage. We'll get into this more. The deep state rearing its ugly head too many fucking times in the last 4 years is probably what scared a whole lot of people back over to Trump, because they understand that he's the antithesis of everything the deep state stands for. He wants them in check. He doesn't like that they exist because they are unelected bureaucrats who get to do whatever the fuck they want with the country, and the American people pay for it. But furthermore, the fact that Trump swung not only swing states, but historically Democrat voting counties across the nation is incredible. He nailed it. He nailed it. And this goes even deeper. But let's just look, and it literally took a matter of maybe like 24 hours before we had compilation videos of all of this buffoonery, which we shall see shortly here. I'm gonna pull that shit up. Pull that shit up, Jamie.
One other interesting thing is, I don't know if you guys read out of Pennsylvania why that swing was so hard. There was a guy named Scott Pressler who actually went out and helped register a bunch of Amish. I think the number was like 100,000 Amish that ended up voting for the Republicans.
I saw that.
And normally they stay out of everything, which that's pretty wild. So I mean, it went down to an individual level.
I do feel like this election was a lot more engaging. A lot of people invested their time and energy into this election. I know I didn't, and I don't care that I didn't, but I'm glad that a lot of young voters did.
So video 1 we have is by the Associated Press.
Yes, this is beautiful.
Or not the Associated Press, but just a compilation video.
And I wanted more context when this video first released. Why? As you can see, there is no context.
Yeah, I'm scared to
Just
go to
watch.
sleep. I might wake up a motherfucking slave.
A lot of feedback.
Yeah.
Are they not counting them here? What's going on, Vadim? Why isn't Philadelphia counting votes? Call them. Do we have contact? Hello, if you're watching the stream right now and you work in Philadelphia, we'll put you on stream. I'll call you. I want to know what is going on.
And he just called the results.
Very unique tattoo on the side of her head.
What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I can't do this anymore. I'm literally sick. I'm literally sick to my stomach. What has happened
be
to
alright.
America? What has happened to democracy?
These people go to work
what has
tomorrow.
happened to freedom?
No, they don't. They're all moving to Canada. Right
So that's just one example of this just dumbassery. It within 24 hours, and it seems to be a problem of only one particular political party, where these it's a religion first and foremost. Their ideology, their way of thinking, their things that they take so important is like a religion, where it's not a sane person who records that kind of content and puts it online for everybody to see unless there's a system that incentivizes such behavior and a subculture that incentivizes such behavior, right? Because you can probably look at the comments. Recent times, the comments were probably like, haha, get fucked, or like, something similar, Trump 2025 or something like that. But there are comments in there who are like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we'll get through this together. Blah, blah. Joy, family. Be burdened by not what has been, but, what can fuck you in the future. Whatever she says.
Oh man. Well, the funny thing is these academic institutions have been their church, honestly, and that's why it's still surprising to see a lot of young men voting the same way that they did for Trump. And it's just crazy.
It's
I
crazy.
think that silent majority is really starting to speak out now.
I think one of my favorite videos I've seen on TikTok is two, right? I have two favorite videos. One is from the man, the myth, the legend, Bryce Hall, who, if you guys don't know who that guy is, he used to be this very cringy TikTok dancer. He used to be a part of these like frat clubs, basically, TikTok clubs or whatever. And they would do dance.
Is that the Your Body My Choice guy?
The what?
Is that the Your Body My Choice guy? The guy that went on and
I
posted
have
that
no
fucking
idea.
troll.
He says some pretty crazy stuff, but he actually received death threats after saying he was going to vote for Trump and stuff. I remember he even got up on the podium, said he was announcing to Donald Trump at one of Donald Trump's rallies, and he followed up with a video after the election. He was like, hey, I want to get an update from all you guys posting about me trying to kill myself if Trump lost. I just want to update. I just want to update on that. Like, what is your guys' update post? And he never heard anything back. And my second favorite TikTok post is of a woman. And she said, obviously I can't say it verbatim, but in premise, right? It was disgusting and ridiculous that we have women in this country concerned for their rights and their freedoms when literally across the sea, across the Atlantic, in the Middle East, we have women who are no longer allowed to speak, no longer allowed to show their face. They're not allowed to look at someone directly in the eyes unless it is a family member or blood relative. There is far worse places out there where women are struggling far worse, and you're worried about your abortion rights being taken or all this or that when it's not even being touched. It's not even being touched. You have actual women suffering right now.
Trump said he doesn't want to touch it. He did as much as he wanted to and left it to the states because this country is a democratic republic, or constitutional republic, and states should be able to make their decision on a whole lot of things instead of the overreaching federal government making decisions for everyone else. And this is the greatest part.
Is how privileged do you have to be? How genuinely privileged do you have to be worried about your problems when there's way worse problems in the world?
And they're not even problems.
Exactly, minuscule problems.
They're not even
real
problems.
problems.
It's like okay, so I'm sorry. Are you saying that you have abortions so often that this is going to throw a wrench into how you run your life. It's like, if that's the case, then
yeah, man.
fuck yeah, let's buy and ban abortions. It's obviously a worse problem than I thought.
I got into the game with some.
Go there, get a stamp, get a free one.
Yeah, like a punch card. Like, what do you want?
Yeah,
I got in the
punch
game
card.
with some boys of mine who are liberal, and I didn't say anything. I didn't applaud Trump or anything because obviously I don't like the guy, but I also don't like Kamala either. But the first thing I said whenever I got into the voice chat was, "Hey guys, did you know that Hamas is already calling for a ceasefire?" I thought it was pretty crazy if you ask me. And it was just silent for a little bit. And I was
That's
like,
interesting.
Did you guys hear about that? And then my friend was like, "Hey bro, shut the fuck up. I don't know what you're trying to do right now." And I
Prove
was
a
like,
point.
"I don't know what you're talking about. I just wanted to push information. I'm not saying anything."
Yeah, it's to prove a point that these people are idiots.
New York was already pulling the prepaid cards from immigrants as well.
Good.
Like the day or two after.
Yeah, and I want these people to wake the hell up. Hey, folks, so you say that you're struggling. You say that life's hard. You say that inflation. This is to all the Democrats who might be watching the website or listening to the show right now. To put it in perspective for you, your life got harder, as did everyone's, with the economy, gas prices. It costs you more now to take yourself to work. All these things that you were living through, that Kamala Harris and Biden acknowledged and lied to you and told you that they were getting better. They told you that it was all because of the evil orange pumpkin man that we had to take on his presidency and all the problems he had, even though now we're on year 4. We're on year 4 of our presidency and our term, and we haven't fixed it. And then
They also lied about Biden getting better in general as well.
And then they lied to you about that guy's well-being. And then at the same time of them acknowledging your struggles, at the same exact time, Democrat-run states are handing out thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to illegal immigrants who have, 1, no right to be here, 0 right, 1, let that sink in for a moment. They have no right to be here. They're illegal immigrants, and they were handed thousands and thousands of dollars each. Holy shit.
Hey,
Wake the fuck up, people. They do not fucking care about you. They think you're fucking stupid, and they hate you. They would much rather, and sooner, obviously, because they fucking did it, a hurricane can rip through an entire region of the United States, and they get $750.
I actually saw something that's gonna irk you if you haven't already seen it.
They get $750. Meanwhile, illegal immigrants who are not fucking citizens, who have 0 right to be here, are getting thousands of dollars a month. So that way they can afford food and the housing that they're given and the free health care that they're given. You know what's crazy is we already have free health care in this country. It's in Democratic states and they're given to illegal immigrants, not its own people. Wake the fuck up.
But here's a question for you. So, 2020, 81 million votes for Biden. 2024, 68 million votes for Harris. Is there some fishy in 2020, or some of these Democrats did wake up and said, just fuck it, I'm not voting?
You know what?
Absolutely. I'm a Democrat who woke up.
I think a lot of people woke
They did
up.
not run a primary and say, everyone's like, what the fuck?
We have another
I
video.
am liberal. I feel like I've made that clear on this podcast.
We have another video. Let's get to another compilation of liberals freaking out.
Are we watching it right now? I saw this one. Look how red she gets. She no longer has to go to a tanning salon. She doesn't have to go to that.
That's how I felt when Peanut died, by the way. I was
Bro,
upset.
my God. Don't get me started.
So since Trump won the election, we're cooked. Yup. I'm gonna be leaving the U.S. and I'm gonna be moving to Hawaii. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll update you guys.
These are the fucking people allowed in our colleges.
If you see me, do not make eye contact. Do not square up at me. Don't act like you know me.
Like, I
Put you
want
in your fucking square sunglasses face. Who fucking wears
I want to
those?
eat them.
right now.
Fucking
wanna
Dahmer.
eat
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna take a
Look at
bite out of those.
Yeah, it's
grapes.
yeah, she's
Bad.
wearing
way.
Dahmer glasses.
Did she just say she wants to eat their ass? I'm sure they would like that rather than hate it.
Yeah. Fuck that TV and fuck that asshole. Do it. I'll buy it.
Boyfriend's TV.
Oh
probably.
no. I don't know whose TV that is, but I know it didn't come out of their fucking wallets.
And I'm gonna act
Otherwise,
like
they
an
wouldn't
angry
have
black
kicked it.
fucking woman because I'm fucking angry. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm angry as fuck, bro.
Can I be honest? This one's the most tame one. She's at least drinking the
We always
coke.
finish last. We always come fucking last to everybody, even our
Slay,
own fucking
period.
men.
I'm with her a little bit. Just
And
because
you
she has a
niggas
bruise
mamas
on
be
her.
black.
Nope.
I hope she
Okay,
always
she
comes
lost
last.
me. She
Y'all
lost
got
me when she said
black-ass
that. She lost
daughters.
me on that one.
I'm angry as fuck. I'm gonna get drunk and cause
I
a
lost.
problem.
I lost
Shit.
data. No, he's
The funniest part about all this is like going to bed the night before is hard to sleep. I rolled over, looked, checked my phone, saw they called Trump for Georgia and Pennsylvania. Rolled over to my wife, woke her up, like, "Hey, Trump just won." She's like, "Hey, fucking God." Rolls over, goes back to sleep. The next morning, she's all excited because she got a new vacuum cleaner. So,
Somebody,
two different worlds.
Oscar, go ahead and prep the third video. Go ahead and prep the third video, and then go ahead and stream
How do
that.
you want me to do that? How do you want me to do that?
Go to the
Oh, I see what you
PDF.
want me to do. I see what you want me to do.
So yeah, these are just little samples, and as time goes on, we're gonna see more and more. And what's great is that guy wants to move to Hawaii, get out of the United States. So
Is he aware that Hawaii is in the U.S.?
no, he has no idea. Anyway, let's go ahead and listen to this.
All right. See, is it on? Is it up? We're good.
Hang on 2 seconds.
You want me to continue?
Let me do
Yeah.
that. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do that.
You're greening out for some reason on my screen.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
We should be good.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America. I love you.
You look like Patrick Dempsey.
I love all of this. All of the people who voted for him will be like happy and they'll just be celebrating. And everyone else, everyone who feels threatened by him is fucking scared.
Pause it. Pause it. Pause
We're
it.
scared for our lives.
Pause it.
We're scared for our friends.
Pause this shit.
I'm pausing. Yeah, what's up?
Who is threatened by him? He
I
is
don't
the
know.
first.
Somebody is.
Okay, let's go ahead and recap everybody. He is the first president to openly support gay marriage. Okay, your beloved saint, your Saint Obama, okay, was literally quoted as saying marriage is between a man and a woman. Okay, it's literally what he said.
It's a good impression.
Let's not fucking forget, folks. That's what the man said. The guy that you hold as the greatest president in the world, that he literally said that. Marriage
Said openly racist remarks all the
is
time.
between a man and a woman. Okay, that's what he said. And then Trump, who was like, "No, yeah, marry who you want. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Whatever."
I was gonna get very
Okay.
upset if you didn't do an impression of Trump.
That's what the man said. But again, these are people who are like patient X, patient 0 of the Trump derangement syndrome. These people are they have swallowed hook, line, and sinker, as well as the whole fishing rod, the liberal machine propaganda that they are force-fed through all the social media, through all of the legacy media outlets, and this is what you get. This is the product. This woman, it believes that Trump is Hitler 2.0. She also believes that Trump is going to have federal agents stationed outside abortion mills and start taking women to jail. She also believes that Trump is incredibly racist and is just going to order all National Guard, a power that he doesn't really have, to immediately shoot everyone. He's gonna reinstitute fucking World War II color charts to people on the streets. She also believes that he's just a homicidal crazy maniac, even though that this man has already had a first term. The country was better off for it. Granted, we had some hiccups during COVID. He hired some really shitty people. He also kept those people hired, which is my only fucking gripe with the guy. He made this country better when he had it, and he's gonna do it again. I wrote an article not too long ago. Go and check out thewholemag.com, thewholemag.com, where Trump addressed what he wants to do in the next 4 years. I wrote it all down. Every single bit of things that he said, I wrote it down for you so you can look at it and read it. And I talked about each one and why they're great.
Oh, so you mean it's not Project 2025?
It's not Project 2025, crazy enough. and she believes that Project 2025 was this massive agenda that Trump wrote down so that way him and the cabal of people who follow him, all the, the Nazi 2.0s could follow him. When in reality, all that it really was like a LinkedIn or an Indeed for government personnel to be hired from. It was like a hiring pool where you can check the background of staff, that where their beliefs are, and you know what they can do. Because one of his biggest gripes, and I addressed this inside the actual article, is he wants to reinstate an executive order he had, and which allowed him the ability to basically fire or remove long-term bureaucrats who weren't performing or who had ulterior motives. They had to reach performance thresholds, and if they didn't, they got booted, which is how it should work. These are unelected officials who just get to do whatever the fuck they want. And that's
corporations in America.
And that's liberals freaking out and being like, "Oh my God, he's a dictator. Oh my God." You guys are so fucking clueless. I would love to, if I had the power, if I had the Infinity Gauntlet for a moment, I would love to snap my fingers and transport all these motherfuckers to 1945 Germany. Like right in the fucking middle of Berlin.
I mean, there's a lot of really bad places currently.
There's a lot of I would send them to the middle of I would send them to the middle of Saudi Arabia right now.
Like literally the Middle East is the worst.
Send them to Saudi Arabia, send them to Iran or Iraq, and see how they cope. If they want to have a flavor of fascist, dictatorial, tyrannical governments, buckle up, Buttercup. See, these people are, and this is my thing that kind of irks me the most, is if you guys haven't seen episode 52, go check that out, where I had a discussion with Tom Burbage and Bruce, amazing people over at the Calvert Task Group. Again, check out their book. I got my copy, and it is phenomenal. What a great book. Where we talked about, woke politics and DEI in the military. And the topic, and what I always say is my biggest gripe and my biggest pet peeve is willful ignorance. It's willful.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you can go to the whole bullshit Greek philosophy thing. It's like, well, I don't know what I don't know. It's like, sure, but you're fed information like Trump is Hitler 2.0, Trump is a fascist, and you could just Google it. You can just be like the smart person.
I don't understand why they were projecting that much when you literally had Hillary and multiple people from the liberal side saying they needed to decide on social media due to disinformation and misinformation.
Yeah. And it's so funny.
If Musk doesn't buy X, Trump probably doesn't win this.
Yeah. These people literally, these people, all the Democrats have been doing for the past 4 years are projecting. Anything that they accused Trump of doing, they were doing themselves.
I'm telling you right now.
Diddy party.
But okay, when you say that Musk had to buy Twitter for Trump to win this, it's not that I don't agree with you. I genuinely think that TikTok was also a big attribution. Like if you just seen the things I seen.
Yeah, no, TikTok is a hellscape for sure. But what Elon allowed for, and this is something that it's a big sort of point of sort of debate right now, is if it's true that if the Hunter Biden laptop story wasn't hidden under the rug as it was during the 2020 election cycle, would it be more likely that Trump would have won? When if everybody knew full-heartedly that the Hunter Biden laptop story was indeed real and it wasn't Russian propaganda, would they have voted different? I'm on the air what I would say yes.
I don't think so. I feel
they also dug up some shit in those Twitter files talking about Hillary. A member of her PAC was the one that shelled that money to her to put out all that Russian disinformation on Trump in 2016.
I give a lot of
slack
for Biden because he is senile.
And let's talk about this too. That's the deep state. So go ahead and close your stream. Thank you for that. This is just a flavor. This is just the flavor of these goblins that are on social media complaining the way they do.
The sad part is a lot of them will take it off social media. I actually had a friend on Facebook. I had to actually send it out because I felt it was very threatening. Let me pull it up so I can read it real quick.
What does this mean?
I was going to tell you earlier about the hurricane situation because I found this today and I don't know if you've heard about it, but apparently some FEMA employees were told not to aid houses that had Trump propaganda on it, Trump signs.
For sure, not a doubt in my mind.
I saw this and I was like, this has to be, BS, like, and you know me, I'm a huge liberal. I'm gonna, find anything, right? So I'm gonna actually proofread everything I see because I'm not gonna fucking believe everything I hear, right? And I see this and I'm like, oh, that's probably Republicans just.
You're 1 in 5 million.
All right, but I got it up now. So this member is a part of the California National Guard and also works for a county in California. So I don't come on here anymore, but hear me when I say this. If you voted for Trump, you can unfriend me, and I will block you on everything. I will not be hearing any excuses, and if I hear anyone say your body, my choice, which is obvious troll, to any woman around me, I hope you have level 4 plates on. It's going to be your body and my Glock.
Oh, wow. Oh. What happened to him? Did he get kicked out or anything?
No, the post was just made today. I was just
it's from the California National Guard.
No, this was from a member of the California National Guard.
So my opinion here. Okay, so hold on. You ready for this? People saying you can unfollow me is the same shit as celebrities fucking saying that if Trump wins, they're going to move out of the country.
Yeah, I can deal with that, but when you start saying you're going to shoot someone, then that's a problem.
Well, you have to understand. That's why I brought up the Bryce Hall thing. Is that this is a party, right? My party. This is a party that likes to preach peace and prosperity among a unifying nation. And then the minute something doesn't go their way, they immediately turn to violence and they turn to death threats. They turn to hate. I've seen too much hate being divisive. I explained to Brandon recently that I had a friend of mine say that she wanted to cut off complete ties with me. But as Brandon states, these are all bark comments, no actual bite. I ended up getting a response text from her being like, oh, I'm sorry. I feel like that was a bit too harsh. I really like talking to you. It's like, okay, well, you can't just go around saying these hateful things towards people just because something didn't go your way. This goes against the human ideology. It goes against philosophies and morals and principles.
Just emotional knee-jerk reaction.
It's the basic SJW tactic. Is these people are fundamentally cowards, and that guy will not do a single thing except maybe puff out his chest, and try and look big and tough because he thinks it's going to score him some extra poon points.
However, at the end of the day, that guy was a California National Guardsman, and if he is a service member saying those things on social media, there should be some level of consequence towards him, absolutely. Regardless of whether or not he does it or not.
There's already been emails made, I'm pretty sure.
Perfect. I hope so, because the guy needs to get an Article 15 or kicked out of National Guard, and a lot of his rights already revoked.
So what does what does the outcome of this election indicate about American politics? I'm going to read off my list. And we're just going to go through the list. You can. I'm already working on an article where I'm going to be going into much deeper detail about this. But one, the Democrat machine has a massive wrench in its cogs, and Democrats put it there themselves. People are tuned into politics more than I thought. Democrats are only able to get away with lies so much before people begin to get annoyed and distrust them. The large base of Harris voters were the target audience for Democrat propaganda and indoctrination. What do I mean by this? Low IQ.
That's not what I expected from you to say. I expected from that reading was they tunnel visioned on
they broadcast. No, these large media companies, they just broadcast as they do, and the people who are regurgitating and parroting this absolute bullshit that is so easily verified false. These people, they're the only logical, with the entire internet at their disposal, the only logical explanation must be that they're stupid. That it just must be. The math adds up for me. Is if they have the world's knowledge in their hand as they're crying on TikTok, these people are just stupid. The American people might have woken up to the Democrat deep state. The deep state reared its ugly face too many times in the past 4 years. 2 assassination attempts due to the left's constant rhetoric of Trump being Hitler 2.0, and the red wave has arrived.
So what is the red wave? What is
So
that called?
before
Who-
like
who-
2020, there was supposed to be this massive red wave where we're supposed to see a lot of people changing their mind because Democrats are just so rapidly moving more left, more and more left, that people were just gonna be like kind of thrown off because of how rapidly they were changing to be more and more radical. And so we were expecting this massive red wave in 2020. It didn't happen because at that time, during that election cycle, we saw a massive amount of changes. People want to say that these mail-in voter ballots are normal and always been a thing. No, that's again Democrats and libtards lying to you, gaslighting you into thinking that you're stupid. No, they were a thing during the Trump and Biden election. They started that because of COVID. It was because of COVID, the big, nasty, scary flu. So they started that, and then they just kept it. And so they kept the mail-in voter ballots because it was a guise to keep you safe. And it makes it super easy to do voter fraud that way. You can ballot harvest. You can do a fuck ton of stuff. And so what they changed, and the laws that they changed as well, kind of did not make it as easy for us to see that red wave. What we saw now was that red wave. We didn't have any stupid restrictions on people being able to go out of their house. There wasn't any lockdowns. People could leave freely. They can go in person to vote. You can't really mess with them that way. And this is what we saw. We saw Trump taking every single swing state. We saw him winning the popular vote because people are waking the fuck up. People are waking up. People are done being gaslit and lied to every single day. A politician, a career politician, standing up there telling you that no, so everything's fine, but it's bad because the prior guy who was a Republican, yeah, he's bad. He did things bad. I understand, like, we've been here for like 3 or 4 years, but trust me, no, it's just bad because of him. But no, because we're about to come up on election cycle, on the 4th year, we're actually going to start doing stuff a little bit, so it looks like we're actually doing shit. This is the classic playbook. It has been rinsed and repeated, where they make life shit intentionally. It gets worse, and on the 4th fucking year before an election, they start doing all this stuff, so that way they can look good. Imagine imagine a firefighter walking up to a house, throwing a fucking Molotov cocktail through the window, and then grabbing the garden hose and then like turning it on halfway. He's like, oh, and he got awarded like an award, like first on scene. That's what he got awarded.
That's what he got. It's like a mechanic punching holes in a fucking oil pan.
Exactly. It's like a mechanic taking a drill bit and fucking up your transmission casing, and then taking JB Weld and then covering it up and be like, I did good. It's the same tired thing. They do this all the time. Folks, pay attention. Just pay attention. Next election cycle, when there is a Democrat, pay attention. If there is a Democrat in office and we're coming on election, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to make shit worse. And then at the last minute, in the 11th hour, they're going to start doing good and start doing things to make things better every single time. Without
hopefully
fail.
that party can do a great reset after this, actually get some good candidates and not generally fuck over the population, choosing between the lesser of evils or two evils.
That's what I hope for as a Democrat. I feel like when he talks about this red wave that surged and turned everyone red, I don't think that's like primarily a case here. I just feel like a lot of Dems were sick of this, as he says, this constant thing that they just kept doing, and it wasn't making.
So I agree, but I disagree. I think that he brought over a lot of moderate Democrats, because if you look, she still got a fuck ton of votes. Like, she's still got a fuck ton of votes. So there's still a large amount of people who are lemmings, sheep, who just will follow either A. There's people, so there's a couple different categories of the typical Democrat voter. There is one who is so far gone down the rabbit hole, who believes every single bit of propaganda spoken to them by CNN. They take CNN as gospel. It's their religion. They worship it every single day. And they take every bit of information they hear on the nightmare, the fucking portal to hell, their phone, as being truthful. They don't do any research themselves. It's just literally what they are told by the establishment media. that is what they need to believe. There's that guy, right? Then there's another person who is like, yeah, I mean, I've dabbled in politics. I think I'm well educated. I keep up with these things. I read many different authors. I'm well read. I understand history. I just find myself erring on the side of Democrat usually. But in recent years, they have just gone so far left that I cannot identify with my home party anymore because they're just so different from 4, 5, 6 years ago. I can't do it. So here I am as a centrist. I'm going to go vote for this guy, though, because he is actually more in tune with my beliefs than my own party is now. There's that guy. And then you have another guy who is the extreme version of the drunk, the fucking drunk on the lies, just bullshit, who goes so far as to try and assassinate the president or the candidate to the presidency. There's those guys who are crazed enough, who believe in being a martyr because they are so ingrained in this weird ecosystem of self-congratulatory and this self-worship mentality that is now rampant across the entirety of the left, where the left appeals to the most base values, the most intimate values that somebody has, which is your own personal pleasure. It's what feels good to you in the moment. You need to vote for us because we'll protect that thing that's super uber important instead of you being able to afford gas to get to work. Right? Is they appeal to the things that are super easy for you to be like, yeah, I kind of like doing that. Let me vote for this person.
Tell me who makes more sense when you go to a Trump rally and you hear Trump talk about his policies, or you go to a Kamala Harris rally and you're ready to hear about policies, but Megan Thee Stallion comes up and starts twerking on stage,
shaking her fucking ass, and then Kamala goes on the Call Me Daddy podcast and shit. It's like, who the fuck listens to that bullshit?
It's like, what are you doing to appeal to the American people, to let them know your policies, to feed information that helps benefit
you have identified the head of the wrench that is now in their machine. Is people, and she's acting like none of this is broadcasted live. None of this is broadcasted to the American people. People are going to a fucking political rally to hear her talk about the future, about what her plans are, what she wants to do to the country. And instead, you're inundated by celebrities who have absolutely been paid to go there. Okay, first off.
Even TikTokers are, so it's fine. Harry's sister.
And so we have celebrities going up on stage, shaking. That guy's a fucking idiot. Citizens and Destiny are so fucking stupid.
Oh, don't forget about fucking Dean. I see you, Dean. How about you fight Bryce?
They are so stupid. But you have Megan Thee Stallion and other celebrities who go up on stage and shake their ass. And this is just how far removed. You would think that this would be a very a serious type of event, is a presidential rally, is like you are discussing what you want to do to make the country better, and instead you degrade yourself and the event by having people go up on stage and shake their ass. That's not the right place. Right place and right time. I'm not saying this stuff is bad. Right place, right time. Let Megan Thee Stallion do that shit at her own fucking rally, at her own concert.
Megan Thee Stallion shake her ass, but not while I'm trying to figure out.
Like, that's the head of the wrench of them that I'm talking about, that Democrats put in their own fucking machine, because they all knew that Kamala Harris was a fucking moron. They could not stand up there and talk about meaningful things.
I would imagine it's they could cater to their voters.
People went for a concert and stayed because it would only be polite to stay who paid for it, right? People went for a concert and they listened to maybe, how long did she speak? She can't go for longer than a decent amount of time.
Well, it took her
she's always on
started on debates and
she's always on teleprompter. You can't take her off a teleprompter because she turns into a fucking babbling buffoon. And so this is the craziest part. That's the head of the wrench. The grip of the wrench is that they chose fucking Kamala. She has not been good at any of this ever.
There could have been so many better choices. I don't know the other choices, to be frank with you, and I feel like I'm very uneducated on that part. But there had to have been a better choice. Like, genuinely.
Do you think Biden did it on purpose?
You saw how he locked in at the end. The speeches he gave after the election were on.
So Nancy Pelosi was doing an interview, and she said that because some of the interviewer asked if it was supposed to be an open primary, because my first big aha was like, hey folks, listen up. They're not having a primary like it's supposed to be where the delegates vote. They already had their fucking candidate before the DNC. That's a problem. That's not very fucking democratic of you. Nobody fucking cares because they don't know how their shit works. But Nancy Pelosi says that we were under the assumption that it was going to be an open primary. And then it wasn't. Because 30 minutes after Biden left the candidacy, he endorsed Kamala. Basically, because they lack any sort of spine, it would seem that the first person to usher like a sort of like direction to go, they all just go with it. And so Biden setting the stage and endorsing Kamala seemed to have screwed the rest of the Democratic Party and basically forced their hand. Why? Grow a fucking spine. Be like, hey, no, we should still vote on this. Let's go ahead and vote on this. Anybody for the I don't know, the worst fucking politician in American history who's been shit at everything her entire life, raise your hand. Oh yeah, nobody? Okay, let's get another candidate, please.
I don't know. I feel like there has to be so much more like at play there, and I feel like
deep state corruption, nastiness.
What makes a great candidate? Their policies, what they've done in their career, the experience they carry, or
their PR.
Their sexuality and gender.
Well, no. So that's a good point. If you're a Democrat, it would be the latter, because don't forget, these people are identity politic fanatics. Okay. Biden literally chose Kamala because she's a black woman, or as close as he could get. Okay. That's why he literally said it. Don't believe me. Because the first way he introduced her, instead of like woman or Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, he goes, the first black, and insert the rest. So it shows you exactly what they think is important.
No one's talking about how Trump, appointed a woman for his chief of staff. First woman. No one's talking about that. And
nobody does.
They almost like underrate it. They almost like
right, because any achievement, any major leap or breakthrough that Trump could possibly do in the next 4 years will be underplayed heavily. But you guarantee that if it would be the equivalent of like Biden successfully stapling two pieces of paper together and they all rant and rave about how fucking virile he is and how much of a fucking go-getter and how much of a like, I'm going to go fuck shit up in Iran kind of attitude he has. They do that shit, but Trump can objectively do like historical things and make groundbreaking progress in economy and foreign policy, step foot into fucking North Korea, and they go, it's like, well, he just had to walk a couple steps. The groundwork's the same over there that it does in the States. So what is he doing really different? That's exactly how they downplay it all the time.
I don't know if you guys ever been to DMZ. It's fucking intense up there.
Yeah,
really fucking intense.
My little brother
and for
just
him,
came back from there.
For him to just walk across and go and shake the guy's hand, be fucking for real, okay? Be fucking for real. Nobody, the news media doesn't know what that's like. I know what that's like. I know what that means as far as like international sort of relations and foreign policy. But they want to play dumb. It's either A, they're dumb, or they're lying. Okay, it has to be one or the other, because that's the ugly machine. That's the ugly machine. It's part of the media, right? It's the media. The media.
Like Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, the media is part of the ugly machine. The Voice is fucking stupid.
Ryan.
The View. Sorry, not The Voice. The View. Not the fucking singing show. The View.
Like, did you see that?
The View.
Like
the one with Whoopi Goldberg.
The View too. Jimmy Kimmel was like crying on one of his episodes after the election. Have some humility. I'm sorry.
And we're going to talk a little bit into as we finish up, the Democrat machine. I'm going to just go through, and this is not even the complete list of shit that he wanted to do, because apparently the video was a lot longer and it was broken apart for me. I have 11 things that Trump wants to do in the next 4 years, probably in the first 100 days of office. Number 1, executive order from 2020 restoring the ability to remove bureaucrats. 2. Clean out the corrupt actors in the national security apparatus. 3. Departments and agencies previously used to target conservative and political opponents will be overhauled so they cannot do it again. 4. Reform courts who have handled fraudulent warrants. 5. Expose hoaxes and abuses of power by establishing a Truth and Reconciliation Committee, declassifying deep state spying and corruption. 6. Launch a massive crackdown on government leakers. 7. Make the Inspector General's office separate and independent of the departments they oversee. 8. Ask Congress to establish an independent system to monitor intelligence agencies and ensure they are not spying on the citizens or running disinformation campaigns. 9. Will move the federal bureaucracy to different parts of the country instead of it being focused in Washington, D.C. Ban federal employees from gaining employment from companies which they oversaw/regulated. 11. Push a constitutional amendment to place term limits on Congress, which will help aid get rid of the deep state. Now, if you're a rational human being and you listen to this and your first instinct is tyrannical or dictator or fascist, 1, tune off of CNN for a moment. There are other channels out there. Pick up a fucking book. Go touch grass. Read.
But you don't understand. I need to kill this baby.
I know. First, after you get off the fucking operating table, pick up a book and read, because none of this shit is fascist. None of this shit is dictatorial. None of this shit has not been done by every Democrat before. But again, if the other side is doing it, it's bad. It's wrong. And the reason why the entire system is losing their collective fucking minds and freaking out and calling him a fascist and a dictator, maybe that's because they like to project a lot. Maybe because Trump is the first president ever who has not been a career politician, who isn't owned by anybody, who hasn't had any ties to anybody, who has entered in, looked around, and was like, wow, this is disgusting.
Disgusting.
I am disgusted right now. We need a clean house. We need a clean house. We need to expose all this shit because this shit is awful. We need to expose the deep state for being what it is, and that is a bunch of unelected officials doing things behind the scenes without any accountability whatsoever. Oh yeah, Biden able to weaponize the FBI to go after Trump? You want to talk about Banana Republic or dictatorial or fascist or anything? That is by far the closest anyone has gotten in the last 8 years. Is persecuting a political rival. Is persecuting a political rival to try and lock him in jail before he gets to office. You're right, it's not fascist, because if it was, he would have just been shot and killed. Oh wait, they tried that. Oh wait, they tried that. You're right.
Yeah, this is far from projecting. This is more so like putting a bear in a corner and you're poking it with a stick. Like, the bear realizes it's in this corner, there's nowhere it can go. It's surrounded by people with sticks. Like, what Trump is doing is just uncovering the filth from under a rug. You know what I mean? Rather than letting it die under there and letting it.
You know what's even better?
Fucking house.
All this stuff is nothing different to what his campaign was. His campaign was all of this. Okay? So, he hasn't changed a thing. So, what does this mean? The vast majority of American people wants this shit to happen. They want that rug to be cleaned.
I think it also means that legacy media will not be doing a lot of interviews from here on out. I think podcasts are probably going to start taking over a lot more.
Yep.
That's good.
I think you might see every year on the Joe Rogan podcast, you're probably going to see both candidates.
Absolutely, because what is this? What is the side effects of this as well? You're absolutely right. People's distrust in the legacy media is probably diminished to an all-time low. Nobody can believe them unless you are the microcosm of viewers that still watch things like CNN or MSNBC, like all of 25 people.
That's liberal media. This applies to conservative media too. Like, at the end of the day,
that's what I mean by legacy media. That's what I'm saying. Legacy media cannot be trusted. Fox News
and stuff. Yeah.
Fox News shot themselves in the fucking feet because they fired Tucker Carlson because he talked about God. And so, Nathan actually said for the longest time that Fox News was just controlled opposition. And I was like, no, they have their moments. And when they did that, I was like, holy fuck, maybe they are. Because there's no financial incentive to do that. There's no financial incentive. People weren't like writing emails like, "Harump,
excuse me, Fox. I am no longer tuning into the show because
I think a lot
Tucker
of people
Carlson
hated
said
Tucker
the word
Carlson.
God."
Well,
A
no,
lot of people hated him.
no,
He makes funny
no.
faces.
Maybe at Fox.
I like him.
Maybe
I
at
think he's
Fox because he was basically keeping Fox afloat. Like people, that was the most popular thing on Fox was the Tucker
I'm an
Carlson
advocate
show.
for Fox and Friends. I've always liked Fox and Friends. They're good.
And so here we are now, where I think this is a great thing. I love this. This is phenomenal. Let these third party, smaller or larger podcasts handle things. Let them talk to people. Let them be hopefully unbiased. However, there are people out there who are absolutely biased. Destiny, Sissons, who is just a fucking bot, as any chance he can get, he'll just repeat the same bullshit. And good for him. He has no shame. He has no embarrassment.
None.
So good for him. Good for him. He can make his money without any sort of quandaries with his psyche.
Okay, I pulled something up if you wanted to share it or not, but I don't know if you guys saw that Bill Burr monologue for SNL. It's actually pretty good.
I love Bill Burr. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
Yeah, I just put it in the Discord if you wanted to pull it up or not. It's about 3 minutes long.
Go ahead and do that.
Why not?
Go ahead and do that, Oscar. Because if I do that, it's going to have bad feedback throughout while I'm
Where's
talking.
that at? For the peeps?
For the peeps text
Yeah,
channel.
for the peeps.
This will be our closing thing.
How do I share this thing is a real question.
Go ahead and stream your screen or something.
Hold on.
Don't
I
worry,
have
we'll
an
get
idea.
better at this. It's okay.
I'm figuring it out, okay?
Pull that shit up, Jamie.
Relax. I'm moving.
It's almost like you did tech shit for a while and you just forgot it.
Crazy,
Okay,
right?
bro.
It's like Nathan being confused about an IP.
EPs?
Yep.
All right. Ready?
Yep. What a little plot twist there. He pulled the fast one on them because you can tell that people are like uncomfortable laughing, but he pulled a fast one. He pulled a fast one on them because he was like, the guy's insane. And everyone laughs. They're like, yes, finally he said something negative. Yes, yes. And he goes, yeah, he got up after being shot and started yelling in the direction of the bullet. What a fucking amazing bait and switch. It's like, oh, you thought I was going to talk shit? No, I'm going to point out how fucking badass this guy was and how brave he was to stand up after getting shot at and start yelling in the direction of the bullet. Like, Bill Burr is very, very clever. Very clever.
Bill Burr is 100% a conservative.
Very clever. You can tell because the laughs immediately died out after he said that. After he clarified what he meant by being insane, the laughter died out because people were like, "Oh shit, yeah, oh that, yeah, oh." So fucking readable, dude. It's so sad. Great.
That was perfect.
Great.
I remember
the funny
watching
is,
that.
it doesn't even seem conservative. You know, back in the day, you could have that kind of political commentary.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So clever because he's doing it. He might be doing it for a reason to be like to show that kind of behavior. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, like that.
Just to
it's wit. It's wit. It's like, I'm going to lead these people because you're in a studio that you likely know is full of a bunch of fucking, liberals, right? And then you're going to say something negative, or that what they're going to perceive as negative, and then you're going to flip it into actually it being a positive, meaning like, oh, he's actually brave as hell. And then you're going to immediately hear the laughter die because people realize what you were saying and they didn't agree with it. It's great. Okay, we're going to end it on that note. Love Bill Burr. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget, check out the shop, 25% off. Use code Trump25, 25% off all clothing and apparel. There's going to be some new merch down the line. By the way, that code is good until January 6th. Yep, not too bad. Good till January 6th. You love it. I love it. It's all good. But we're going to have some new designs coming to the shop at some point. I have some things to do. Working on a lot of articles. We're going to start doing this more regularly. We're also going to have the video segment more regularly as well. So look this up on the Facebook. on the YouTube. It probably won't be on Facebook too long because we'll probably get removed. But fuck them. It's fine. If not, it'll be on the website. So, ha.
Zuckerberg, like Sis, and you can come fucking fight me too.
Check and mate. But anyway, folks, thank you all so much for listening. And as always, have a good one.